are you one of those guys that you have lots of girl friends, but you're not pursuing or committing to any one of them?
You're in the friend zone.
You just either you remain in the friend zone, or you choose to stay in the friend zone. Whether it's imposed upon you or by choice, doesn't matter. That used to be me all the way up until the age of 40, and I came to a crossroads in my life, and God brought a man by the name of Carlos Campos into my life, who quickly pointed out to me that I need to hang out with manly men and let them rub off on me. I was a little bit of a softie. I was tough in some ways, but picky and choosy on what that looked like. I didn't enjoy sports of any kind whatsoever, no hunting of any kind, and I didn't enjoy camping, roughing it, anything rough and tough that had to do with, I'd fall asleep on the Super Bowl. That was just the most boring thing I could think of doing. It's just not my. Anyhow, why was that? Well, you could attribute it to just natural personality, probably, but there was more to it than that. In my growing up years, I viewed men and masculinity in general as a source of pain. I was bullied and mocked as a young boy. Harsh male teachers in the public school system, more so, and a dad who was very authoritarian, militant-like in his, pushing us to get the job done and work hard, and with not a whole lot of not encouragement or validation or a good job or anything like that. Now, my dad's amazing. I love him with all my heart, and he's wonderful. He's not that anymore. I have a great relationship with my dad. So hats off to you, Dad, if you ever see this video. But my growing up years, it was tough. It was tough, and at the same time, it made me who I am today. So I don't reject any part of that. And then employers, harsh, cruel employers. I had great employers here and there, but a lot of them were just gnarly. And then three attempts at school teaching, where the board members, again all men, didn't hire me for a second year because they didn't deem me as qualified. So it was just rejection upon rejection and pain from the masculine side of life in general. And so I judged that. And I scoffed at the things they took interest in, because that's what they do. Those that are, rough and tough, and all they can think about is football, hunting, and shooting guns. And I'm like, whatever. Go get a life. Let's do something productive. And so I didn't get invited to go on campouts or roughing it and all that, because they knew my answers like, nope, I got better things to do. You go have fun. Well, anyhow, long story short, Carlos encouraged me to go do some of those things. And from the perspective of the Tree of Life perspective, of developing that part of me, have a why behind, a purpose behind it. It's not just about hanging out and doing stuff because I enjoy it, but to develop something within me. And so I did a Spartan trifecta race in one weekend, which was almost a whole marathon distance between the three races, with over 100 very hard obstacles that were brutal and crushing physically. I bagged my first deer, and I worked out more and shot guns and did some Krav Maga, self-defense, and just a variety of things. And that's where I tapped into the inner hoorah and started feeling more manly. I'm not naturally manly, left to my own devices. I gravitate more towards the feminine side. I love music, the arts, acting. I've been in musicals before, teaching, receptionist jobs, grocery store jobs. Like that's my. I love that. Or computer work and
Connecting with people.
connecting with people, more the coaching, mentorships. That's me. However, in order for me to be effective in even that, I have to embrace the rough and tough side of me, because, to bring balance. Because if I only focus on the one side, the other side of me remains undeveloped. And guess what? How we do one thing is how we do everything, and it bleeds into all other areas of life. If I'm not crushing it with something that causes some blood, sweat, and tears in the physical, then I start becoming lazy and unmotivated even in the things that I do enjoy. So with that being said, that's how my story and how I grew out of that, or developed out of that. I remember, Irina, you shared how that you saw me as more boyish and as just friend material in the beginning, and you watched my transformation right before your eyes as we were communicating on a group that was dedicated towards helping singles break free from singlehood and get out of the addictive rut of the comfort zone that singlehood affords.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to have you speak into that and share what that looks like from the feminine side now.
Well, yeah, first I want to actually focus on Jesse's story because he had a lot of great qualities that women are looking for. And, he mentioned that he was friends with women, and more so than men probably, because women can relate to he can relate to women because of the things he developed, his sensitivity, his kindness, his gentle, spirit. And that was actually something that I loved about him when we met. Although, yes, when I saw him first on the video, I was thinking, oh, what a cute boy. Like, he's so young and, like, just adorable. I thought he was in his 20s. He was already turning 40 at that time. So think of that too. The energy you carry can also reflect on your physical appearance. So when you see someone who is cute, like a little boy, a woman wouldn't want to marry a little boy. So for me, that was perception I was getting. And yet the balance needed to be there. When that balance started showing up more and more in Jesse, that's where I said, you know what, I can do this. I am more attracted to him now as a man, not just a little brother, as a friend. And so that is very attractive, and we're still developing that, right? We're still working on the balance.
Ongoing development.
Ongoing development. And from a woman side of things, I always was feminine, and yet I chose to be in a man-dominant profession as an architecture. I was in retail and architecture, so kind of hand in hand there, and a lot of working with people too. So because I was not married until 43, I developed this bossy, a masculine energy too that was intimidating for a man, and especially when I was working in architecture.
Men found you intimidating?
Yes. So when I was in architecture positions and working at the firm, I dressed in suits, although it was feminine, pencil skirts and jackets and blouses and high heels, but I also carried that energy that, listen, I don't need a man to provide for me. I am a sole provider for myself. I have a great career. I have a great life, really, because I was doing, investing into real estate and renting properties out. I had so many things that was going for me at that time. And although my life changed drastically since then, before I met Jesse, I was already getting into more feminine energy. God was showing me where I need to step down from certain things, where I need to dial up and start wearing more dresses that are feminine. And so that also needed to change. And women, I hear you. If you're single and you are in 30s and 40s already, it's not easy to just step into your feminine when you have to carry for all other things.
Especially
carry
single moms.
Yeah, single moms. Or if you never had children, but you're working, you maybe have a property that you own, a house, you have a business or a career. All of those things can speak masculinity and feel like, well, I have to do it. And it is, that's true.
Yeah, it's not about rejecting that, but about keeping your feminine side developed and
Yes.
cultivated alongside that.
So all of those things are the product of our lives that we're walking out, and how to bring it to balance. That's important. So Jesse was using that example of himself, of Carlos coming into his life. And Carlos is a masculine man who is big and strong and aura, and right? Man, what
He's
do you call it?
the king of hoorah.
Yes. And in my case, it was my Heavenly Father that was leading me towards toning some things down, stepping into. I was working in an architecture firm, but I was doing reception work. So it was not doing projects anymore, not being a project manager or an architectural designer. It was more of an assistant supportive role, which at first was very uncomfortable for me. And but I was learning some skills and things that I needed for marriage. So when Jesse came into my life, when we got married, I had to shift a lot of things in me, and I'm embracing them more and more as we are walking on this journey.
And I remember even in marriage, there's been times where you stood down to give me the space to rise up.
Yeah.
And that too needs to be done with wisdom and awareness and purpose.
Yes.
Because then you create a flip side agreement where one or the other feels suppressed,
Yeah.
and the other one gets into the land of lazy. And so it's doing it with purpose and communication.
Yeah.
For a season, and always be pushing to grow. Still,
Yeah.
there's Irina challenges me sometimes to rise up, and then in her God-given wisdom, sometimes she discerns that no, she needs to stand down, and no, this time she needs to call me forth. It's the gift of the women and their intuition to discern that difference.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we all nail it perfectly. It's a journey, and if you do it with grace and a good heart, it can be a fun journey. It doesn't have to be this I suck type of mentality behind it.
And I actually went into that energy for a while, where I was feeling like I'm I don't have certain things, or my values not there anymore, and I was in the puddle of tears for the longest time, because I was rediscovering my value. And where we have Carlos that helped Jesse, his wife Chantel was working with me on that portion of things, and having that identity shift when you get married. Who am I now? What am I bringing to the table? How am I now valuable for the public and for the masses? There's so much that we go through as we shift from one status to the other, right? From being single to being now wedded to our spouse. Especially when you're older, we need to have somebody that's guiding us. And if you have a deeper connection with God, that's amazing. God can guide us in that and will guide us in that. His Holy Spirit is leading us in all things. And sometimes we really need that outside perspective from a coach, a mentor, someone who can keep you accountable and show you the way out of that, So there's so much. We can share so much. It could be a whole series of how to...
I'm sure whole books could be written on this topic, but...
I want to say it's a message of hope.
Yeah.
Right?
If you can identify with any of this, it's not about getting discouraged or down and out about it, but rather, okay, what are the things that you can do
Yeah.
to expose yourself to things that are commonly
Yeah.
associated with your gender?
That's good.
You know, you want to develop your masculinity, hang out with some manly men and do some things that they enjoy doing that you might not enjoy, but do it with purpose. And okay, you want to develop this side of yourself and do something hard or go on an adventure, something you've never done before. And with the women, you know, hang out with feminine women that you admire and look up to as like, wow, they really have the feminine side down pat. They know how to carry themselves with that flowing grace and beauty and fashion.
Yeah.
Hang out with them, learn from them, ask questions.
Yeah. And develop the vision of who you want to be known as.
You know, that could even lead to a third topic of if you're single and you're so comfortable being single that you're happy being single, you want to stay single the rest of your life. Well, remember, singlehood is an addiction. Why is it an addiction? Because it's comfortable.
Yeah.
The comfort zone is always addictive. We want to stay there, but then eventually it becomes its own source of bondage. And so what I did, just a little tag on, won't go into this topic deeply, but I hung around with families, with a wonderful mom and dad figure and a row of lovely children that are all happy and you know, doing what children do, and it stirred up the vision in me to have a family, and it inspired me to really go after getting married because I'm like, I want that too. But I had to create the vision by hanging out with people that had what I wanted. So not everybody has a great marriage or wonderful children necessarily. So find somebody who does. Go look for them and say, hey,
Get
I
inspired.
love what I see in you. I would love to hang out and just observe and re-stoke this vision in me to have what you've got. I'd like to learn from you.
Yeah.
So they're out there. Don't fool yourself and say, oh no, the whole world's going to hell in a handbasket. There aren't any good marriages and families left. Nah, that's hogwash.
Yeah.
Get out of your head and get out there and go find wonderful people to learn from.
We have something special to offer you.
Oh yes, what is it?
We already mentioned Carlos and Chantal, who are our mentors. They are giving a $1,000 credit towards a retreat that they do.
And all you need to do is comment
Epic.
in the comments.
If you book a strategy call with them, it's free of charge.
Like an evaluation call to just see where you're at in the world of relationships.
Yep.
Even if you're married, you know.
Yeah.
And literally hear you out, lay out a strategy of what moving forward could look like for you, and you'll be inspired. You'll have some new ideas of what you could implement in your life, and some opportunities will be presented to you. And as a gift for having that call, $1,000 gift card that you can tuck in your pocket for attending one of their retreats someday.
And they're experts in their field. We call them the Amish matchmakers, and they've been doing this for over 10 years. They have
probably going on 15 years by now.
It's been a long time. So they've been, I don't know how many marriages came out of this. Hundreds, maybe close to thousands.
Probably
already.
Thousands of singles and marrieds too.
Take that opportunity and say epic in the comments so we can send you the link to Carlos's calendar so you can schedule that and receive that gift and can start moving forward to where you need to be, where you want to be, and step out of that
comfort zone box.
Yeah.
We all have it. Every so often I have to step out of my comfort zone box.
Oh, absolutely. Again. Always, right?
Yeah. All right. Till next time.
Bye, y'all. Be
Keep
blessed.
crushing it.